Hey YouTubers, Nick540 here. I don't like to do videos with piles of cash in them, and I have done a few videos where you have seen some cash in it, but there's a point to what I'm making today, and I'm going to show you a lot of cash. So before the holidays, I managed to go to the bank, and this is all Canadian money here. It's just a few bucks here, but I'm going to show you a lot more in a second. And I wanted to see how much and how long it would take to get my money out of the bank. So here's a stack here, but here's an even bigger stack. These are all $100 bills. There's probably close to $6 grand in here, as you can see. Just hundies. And these are very crisp, bank crisp, actually. And it was very tough. So we're talking about liquidity in the metals, and actually 300 of this I did to actually sell my old Apple Watch. So that's why these ones are like that. But the crisp ones are bank bills. So we're talking about liquidity in the metals, and I've seen some channels and some people say that it's very difficult to, sell their metals and whatnot. Well, I'll tell you something. It was difficult to walk into a bank in Canada, and I'm at one of the big 6 Canadian banks, and ask for a big stack of cash. They had to get a manager to come out. They had to get, signing, and they asked me a lot of questions as to why why do you need so much money, and it was not an easy process, and that's just a reminder, keeping your money in the bank. Obviously it's safer than storing all this in my house, and trust me when I say I am going to take some of this back. But it's good to, when we're talking about, metals and safety and whatnot, it's good to have some money on hand, as we've seen in the past in Greece and whatnot. Here's some fives down here too. How hard it is to get cash out of the bank. It is sometimes not easy when there's a run on the bank. Or I remember I lived on the west coast of Canada, and when I was living there, the power went out for a while, and it was a big issue because the only thing, if you needed gas or groceries, the only thing that they would take was cash. And a lot of people didn't have cash. They had debit cards and credit cards and whatnot to pay for their items. So the problem became is they couldn't put fuel in their car. They had to go home and search their couch. And I know this because I was talking to friends who had this, and I experienced myself when I lived out there. Or borrow gas from friends, or some people even siphoned it out of other people's cars. There was fights for water and food. It was a mess. So I guess my point being is that even though the banks are there, and I'm a big gold and silver guy, as you know, it's good. It was more of an interesting. I did it for the sake of the video more than anything, was to see how difficult it would be to take out this large amount of money, and it wasn't very difficult. But any larger than this, I could see it being a very difficult thing to do. Because even taking this amount much out, and I think there's about $6,500 here or so, and oh yeah, and there's the extra 300 I got from selling my Apple Watch. But even taking out this amount of money was hard. Not hard per se, but there was questions asked, and a manager had to come over, and they weren't sure they had this many. They asked what denomination I wanted in, and they ran out of hundreds. So which is crazy to me. So I had to actually get 20s and 50s. There's some 50s around here as well to make up the rest. So I guess my point is that even though people think their money is safe in the bank, that's not always the case. After that experience in Victoria, I actually decided to keep a little bit of emergency cash in my home. kind of backing up the gold and silver because, you know, if that happens again, well, now I'm on a homestead, so I'm fairly self-sufficient, but I have gas in my garage, I have rainwater collection system, I'm on well, and, you know, we eventually are going to have our own garden, and there's a farm next door, and we've befriended them. But so hopefully I won't need too much cash. So I've actually managed to take my cash hoarding in my house down quite a bit. But it's always good to have some on hand. You just never know. Again, I'm not trying to be a jerk or a dick about this. I just wanted to share the story of how interesting this was. I know it's not about metals per se, but it's another good reminder that, you know, the banks aren't always out there for your best interests. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but if there's, you know, one or two people out there that don't know that or don't have at least a little bit, even a couple of these, I'd prefer the lower denominations personally, like this. They're more liquid, and, you know, there's some places that don't take these in Canada. So obviously I'd go for have a mixture of, you know, maybe a couple of 50s, a lot of 20s, some 10s, and of course a couple of 5s as well. But yeah, I would definitely, you know, have a few dollars kicking around your house. I have a lot of change too. I keep about $500 of change just because I have so much fun going through the rolls. And when I get change, I roll them all. So I can do a video of that if you're interested in it, you know, toonies, loonies, nickels, dimes. I think it's kind of fun. So I could essentially count that as emergency cash as well. But it's good to have a little bit of this as well. I know I've shown cash in different videos as well, showing, you know, the core of my stack is cash and gold. But now moving to the homestead, I think the core is now mainly gold. Even though I have more silver than gold, I definitely, when I set my yearly goals, usually beat my gold goal and underperform on my silver. I got to change that up a bit. Anyways, just ranting now, but I did take this all out to show you guys. I'm going to put, as I said, I might keep all the small bills just for that emergency sake, add them in, but I'm going to take all the hundreds back and put it in the bank tomorrow. And I'm going to actually go to the teller. I kind of want to record it and see if they have a hard time taking it, because I don't think that'll be the case. They don't really let you record, and I didn't want to give my information. I kind of was hoping to do a video where I could show you having all this taken out, but they asked for too much personal information, so I didn't do that. And it's been kind of sitting in my house because the banks have been closed because of the holidays, so I got it before the holidays, and I've just kind of been sitting on it, and I kind of forgot about it because I was excited to do that metal video. If those of you haven't seen it, yesterday I did a video on the metals I picked up in December. So I kind of forgot about it. And then tonight, I just kind of happened to remember that I had this massive wad of about $6,500 cash sitting there to do this video. And I am going to go back to the bank tomorrow. And as I said, I'm probably going to keep the 50s, 20s, and 10s and throw the rest back in. Looking forward to seeing the look on the teller's face. Hopefully I don't get the same teller, because that would be weird. They think I'm money laundering or something. But yeah, I think that's good. You know, just keeping these smaller denominations around, because you know, as I said, they ran out of hundreds, which I find strange. So they had to give me these 50s and 20s as well to kind of make up the rest of it. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. So it's kind of fun playing with this stuff too. I don't usually touch a lot of cash. It's usually gold and silver. But it's kind of fun playing with this stuff too. That's why I'm still talking and kind of sorting it out here as we talk. That's a tiny pile compared to this one. And this is a thick pile too. Wow. I see why people do those cash videos. It is kind of fun. Anyways, hope you're doing well. Hopefully there's no hate comments on this one. And if I don't do a video before the new year, have a great new year. Peace.